I read Ben 10 issue 1, so let's talk about it. Probably don't need to say this, but spoilers ahead, so hit that like button and come back later. So even though I don't normally review comics, all I really do is discuss about what happens in a comic book, mainly manga most of the time. But when it comes to my love of Ben 10, I have to review this entire series issue by issue. My favorite character of this issue has to be Ben. So I'm enjoying this new version of Ben 10 so far. This version of Ben feels so much like the original one that I grew up on, where he can be a little cocky and annoying at times, but still deep down he is still a little kid going through a ton of crazy stuff that no kid his age should go through. It's so great seeing Ben acting like a kid again. It is so refreshing to see. So yeah, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here and try to review these comics as each issue comes by. I'm still new to reviewing comics and comics in general, so please be patient with me about what I talk about on here, but I am looking forward on going on this journey with you all on talking about one of my favorite franchises, that being Ben 10. And yet, after years of waiting with no Ben 10 content, this is so great to see. Even though we're only at the beginning parts of this comic, I see a lot of potential when it comes to this story. The comic opens up very strong for us Ben 10 fans, as it opens up with the main antagonist of the entire series, that being Vilgax. There are so many little references to the OG Ben 10 series that I absolutely love, mainly one of my favorite Easter eggs, seeing Ben's love for Sumo Slammer cards and him talking about how he can't find the gold one anywhere, and we also even get to see Gwen's Lucky Girl symbol with the little cat button that she has on her backpack. After years of waiting, it is so great to finally see this trio together again. I love seeing Ben, Gwen, and Max together again. Like, I enjoy seeing Ben, Gwen, and Kevin from Alien Force into the main series, but to me, the real big trio in the Ben 10 franchise will always be Ben, Gwen, and Max. It is definitely very surreal to see Ben using terms that we wouldn't see back in the day when Ben 10 first came out, like the term rage baiting. It's kind of cool to see him talking like an actual kid though that came out around this time. It is so nostalgic to see all these elements that we would see from the original Ben 10 show in this one issue here, like seeing Ben and Gwen just bickering with one another while having fun with each other. I will say though, their relationship in this first issue seems a little bit more antagonistic than it ever did in the original series. Even though they were always antagonistic towards each other in the original series, there was still a mutual respect between the two, and they both knew that they cared for each other deeply, but within this comic, I can kind of sense a bit more jealousy than them actually respecting one another. I also kind of do enjoy the plotline that they're setting up in this issue for Ben, where his parents may be getting a divorce, and that's why he's on the trip with Grandpa Max to go to Mount Rushmore and explore all of the United States with him and Gwen. I feel like it's going to be an interesting storyline to explore on Ben's mental psyche, as he's burdened with the responsibilities of being a hero when he's given the Omnitrix. The art in this comic is really beautiful to me, and it's exactly how I personally imagine a Ben 10 comic would look like. But like plenty of people had talked about before, some of the art with the character designs mainly could have been refined a little bit more. Like, there's so much talk going around about Gwen's forehead here and how that really could have looked better. And I do agree, there are some moments where I feel like they could have refined a little bit more stuff, but for the most part, I do think the art is really good. It looks like we're rushing through certain parts of the original Ben 10 story though, where it seems that one of their first stops is going to be Mount Rushmore, and I kind of like that it's going to be one of their first stops so they can kind of fast forward the reveal of what Max used to do for a living as a plumber. When I'm reading this issue, I cannot help but imagine every single voice I read from this comic to have the same type of voice that these characters would have from the original series. And when I imagine their voices saying these lines, it's again another pretty nostalgic thing I'm loving about this comic. It's cool to see a bigger focus on the US government this early on to the Ben 10 series. In the original series, we never really focused on the government and their depictions on what they think of aliens coming to Earth, especially a 10-year-old getting a watch who can turn into a bunch of aliens. So it's gonna be pretty cool to explore on how the government views Ben in all of the situations we see this comic in. The design to the Omnitrix, I still have some mixed feelings on, but as I read this comic, it's starting to grow on me more and more. I think one reason why it's kind of growing on me is the way it's moving towards Ben when he first grabs onto it. The way it moves here just kind of reminds me a lot of how you would see a symbiote move, and it's kind of interesting to think about how the Omnitrix could essentially be alive within this continuity. I do hope, though, as this series goes on, we get some brand new designs for this Omnitrix as it upgrades during Ben's experience of being a hero. I really do want to see more versions of what this Omnitrix could look like. As many people have talked about with this issue, the pacing definitely does feel very fast, especially for a comic book, but from my experience with reading the Invincible comic book, the pacing does seem very fast for most comic books, it seems. Even when I'm reading a manga, the pacing is a lot faster when you will watch something like an anime and you compare it to its original source material. I can understand why everything feels so fast-paced, but it still can get a little bit jarring at times on how fast-paced this comic can be. I mean, you see Ben just walking in the woods trying to figure out what the Omnitrix is, and he just suddenly comes across this bear right out of nowhere with no build-up to it. At least give us some stomping sound effects in the background where we can build up to the reveal of this bear. Also, that's another problem I have with this issue so far. I am not a fan on how there is a lack of sound effects within this comic. When I'm thinking of a comic book, I would think that we would see so many sound effects all over the place, especially for a Ben 10 comic. And when we see Ben just suddenly transforming back into a human after he transforms into forearms, there's no build up to it whatsoever. There's not the repeated beeping sound that gave us all PTSD whenever we watched the original Ben 10 series when we were all kids. Like, is it really so hard to write beep 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 over and over again when we see Ben suddenly transforming back? I feel like they could have at least done something like that for the Omnitrix. Still, despite some of the flaws that this comic has, this is only issue 1, and I can see them fixing a lot of the problems that I mentioned in this video as more issues to this series release. And as a longtime Ben 10 fan since the day it came out, I'm happy to see that we are finally getting more Ben 10 comic, and I cannot wait to see where this story goes next. There's definitely a lot of interesting storylines that we're going to be getting, because not only are we getting a storyline with Vilgax, and now that he found the Omnitrix, it seems he's going to be on his way to Earth very soon. But we're also getting a brand new government storyline that's going to be introducing characters that we don't see later on down the road, like Razum, a character who appears in Ultimate Alien. And while this is still very hypothetical, I like to think we're going to be getting a Dr. Animo storyline very soon with the introduction of the Cyber Bear we see within the first issue. My favorite moment of this issue has to be when Ben starts transforming into his alien. In any kind of Ben 10 property, Ben transforming into his aliens will always be the most iconic part of Ben 10 to me. And when we see him transforming into forearms for the very first time, it is so cool to me. The transformation looks so grotesque and painful to me, and it is something I've been missing from the transformation scenes from Ben 10 for years now. And when we do see Ben transformed into forearms, oh my gosh, it is awesome. I do wish that they had done a better job with this picture right here of forearms. His face just looks a little bit too flat to me, but besides that, this is still an awesome entrance. And not only does Ben just transform into forearms, but he also transforms into Heat Blast, and this might not just only be my favorite panel of the entire comic, but this is also my favorite Heat Blast design so far, and probably one of my favorite redesigns for the aliens too. I give this issue a 9 out of 10, giving it an A. Anyway, that's the review. Go down to the comments, tell me what you thought of Ben 10 issue 1. Share this video with all your friends, and hit that like and follow button to get my latest content. See ya!